All right, welcome to my daily review. Thank you for watching. You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, and what do we have here? We have I don't know. There's a phenomenon that people get really upset and frustrated when the market goes down, and then when the market goes up, it's like it's expected. But that's what the market's going to do. I mean, by nature, that's what it does. It goes up and then it goes down. You could see at the start of 2023, kind of a little change of character here, and it went up 15%. February 2nd topped at 12,269 and pulled back, gave back half of those gains, came down to the 200 and found support. Now it bounced nicely on Thursday and Friday. Then on Monday, gapped higher and then faded that gap and then just came down today. And you can see it closed, just a tick below the 21 and the 10, but it's still above the 200, still above the 50. And, you just got to be patient here. It had, like I said, it had a big move. It's up 10% for the year. Just get back half those gains. Yes, Powell spoke today, and he was hawk, by design, extremely hawkish today. And he wants the markets a little lower, and you don't want to fight the Fed, because a higher market, makes his job more difficult. So he will read the same speech tomorrow, and I doubt it has the same impact. But yeah, the Nasdaq was down 1.25% today. Not a great day. The internals are looking worse as well. But I'm going to remain, upbeat, bullish, and the market's in a power trend. I'm going to stick with it until it proves otherwise, and it might. It very well could. The S&P, I just see this thing as in a big, long, trade range at 4,000. It's just a magnet for 4,000. It's like a teeter-totter. I call this the teeter-totter. It goes up and down and up and down and up and down, and it really goes nowhere. And this is going on for nearly a year. And anyway, I don't trade the indexes. I trade stocks. And when the Nasdaq and the S&P are down, these stocks like Apple are going to be driving it lower, and it certainly did today. It had a little gap there to close. Microsoft, these big mega cap tech stocks, well, I have nothing to do with these things. If you hold them, good for you, but I just don't see, their ability to grow. 1% growth does not do it for me. So those stocks definitely move the indexes, though. I like some of the underlying strength, the smaller cap stocks. I'm just going to go to retail first because Dix was in the penthouse today. It broke out of a base here, and you can see that base and the RS line. When a stock like that goes up, when the S&P is down as it was today, you can see that RS line pointing due north, and they had heavy volume today. It was a really phenomenal report. I looked at the slides from the conference call, and they said footwear was their leading driver, along with team sports and golf. So you got to make note of that kind of stuff. So I thought CROX would have a good day, but it didn't. It's just kind of hanging around the 125 area, which is not doing nothing wrong. It's just it's up 50% from this move from 80 to 120, and now it's just camping out here at that 120 level. That's fine, doing nothing wrong. In fact, the longer it stays there, the better. Their next earnings report will be in May. I'm sure they'll crush it once again because their CEO likes to sandbag. Anyway, I didn't mean to go to CROX, but I did. Here's the Zelf Beauty. I want to point this out because it came down to its, people, like I said, it was down 2 days and people having a cow, because it was on higher volume, but it just came down to its 21, found support and bounced, more than 2% today with decent volume. So there's nothing wrong with ELF. It's doing fine. ULTA is a stock that reports earnings on Thursday. And I just like looking at the monthly chart of this. I don't like to say, set it, forget it, because you always have to do your homework. But this stock has been, treated its shareholders really, really well. And it came down to its 21 recently and found support. It's been up 4 or 5 days in a row. Nothing wrong with ULTA. I wanted to point out a couple of industrials because, the economy is fine when these stocks are doing this well. United Rentals, this thing is just a beast, and it's got decent earnings and growth, sales growth rate, doing well. Granger, same thing. These are two of my favorite industrials right here. You can't argue with that. WSC is another one that I like, and it's been up on lower volume, but That thing's hanging in there and doing nothing wrong. But I just wanted to point out some of the industrials are doing well. Some of the tech stocks that I do like. I mentioned that I don't like tech stocks. I don't like those big ones. I like smaller stocks. This has a 5.2 billion market cap, and I like this base that it's kind of set up in here. And it pulled back. This acted as a handle, then it exploded higher. Now it's pinching in again. I like this little pinch pattern here. I made it top, and then now it's just kind of pinching like this. And I would expect this thing, it's having trouble with 100, no doubt about it. But once it gets through that level, I could see SMCI, heading higher and blasting out of that base. I expect it to. Those are my expectations, not a prediction. Iridium, IRDM is the ticker symbol. And I like this one as well. Pull back to its 50 for the first time after it broke out of its base, and it found support, blasted higher. That's what you want to see. Nice 2-day move there with volume, and then just pull back to the 21. This is doing nothing wrong. Looks good to me. IoT, I don't really know anything about this stock, Samsara, but it's been doing really well since it broke out of this base here. And you can see the volume coming into this one, and that type of a move is not to be ignored, Dan. And CrowdStrike reported tonight. Phenomenal report, really impressive. CrowdStrike has a gap to fill here at 136.25, I believe, is the actual price here. What's the low there? 136.25. Well, so we'll see if it can close that gap tomorrow, and see if it can drive through this 200 here. This looks like it's starting to turn around. If we take a look at the weekly, and this is forming this like a stage 1 base here. So we'll see if CrowdStrike can blast out of this area and get above that 150, above the 200 simple moving average. Anyway, a couple of other medical stocks that I like. Lantheus, this one's setting up nicely. I know it's a late stage base, but had a nice move on earnings. Now it's pulling back in lighter volume. We like that. So I'm going to keep that on the watch list. We will be watching that one closely. DXCM went down yesterday on the news from Abbott Lab. They had their glucose monitor cleared, and it pulled back with volume. I was expecting a little more of a bounce today, but Jay Powell had other things in mind. It was still up in a weak tape, but it was a pretty tough move today. There was not a lot of stocks. The advanced decline line was just pretty horrific. And that was, by design by the Fed. You don't want to fight the Fed. This is a Shockwave. And it looks to me like it's just, forming this base here. It had a phenomenal year in 2022. You can see this big move here, and then it formed this like a stage 3, and now is in a stage 4 decline, but just, forming a base here, and could definitely form another base and turn higher. Keeping an eye on Shockwave. And I got to go to the autos. Tesla, out of all those mega cap tech stocks, this is one that I do like because it has the growth. It still has the 37% sales growth and 40% earnings growth. And, it's doing nothing wrong. It had this 100% gain, and now it's just kind of having trouble with the 200 line, but it still looks pretty good. Race is another one. Ferrari, got to look at the weekly here. Just a nice big symmetrical base and forming a handle. Not too bad. I said Dix was in the outhouse. RIVN was in the penthouse today, down nearly 15%. And I think they did a secondary offering. I don't know, something like that. I don't really follow that stock. But anyway, that one looks bad. A couple of stocks at mcstockcharts.com. We have 25 stocks on our leader list. 5 of them made new highs today, so that's 20%. AXON is one of them. That is not AXON. This is AXON. Made another new high today, and you can see that since it's broke out of this base, it's doing really well. For solar, there's another one. I do not own it. No, I don't. I wish I did, but it definitely popped out of this base and trading higher. It's now 11.3% above its 10 EMA. So, whoa, Nelly, hold on, partner. That thing's going to have to come in a little bit. It's getting a little bit ahead of itself. Tidewater had news today, made an acquisition, traded at an all-time high. Another one of our stocks at a high, and the other one was Weatherford, which is an oil and gas manufacturing equipment stock. Made a high and then pulled back to its 10 EMA. That's actually a bearish engulfing candle there, but we'll see what happens with Weatherford. they had earnings here and gapped higher, and it's been minding its 21 EMA ever since. Looks good to me. And PERI, last one I'm going to go over today, doing nothing wrong. It is getting a little extended here once again, 5% above the 10 EMA. So you got to watch that. Oh, I lied. That's not my last one. I wanted to just show Novo Nordisk, because this one is it made a new high yesterday, I believe. Yeah, it's just pulling back. Like to see this one handle out, maybe back to the 21 before making a move higher. But this thing definitely shows strength. Anyway, that's it for today. We never give up.